So next thing is, right, we have our why, we have our persona, we have our audience. Who are we talking to? Who are we putting out there? Who could buy from us? We have our content. How are we showcasing all of this? Are we going to do photo shoots every quarter? Are we going to write a blog post every single week? Are we going to do video tutorials? What is that content going to look like and who is it serving? And then we have the next step, which is your channels. Where am I going to put that? I mean, some people do, right? Like Google has capacity to put all their content literally everywhere. If you are, I don't know, Nike, you have 100 people per country running your marketing. But as like one feeble human being or a small team, where are you going to place it and what makes sense? So the three main channels that I recommend that you start with and that I'm going to talk a little bit about is your website, your newsletter, like your email newsletter, and social channels. Let's start with the obvious. You have to have a website, right? So your website is like, I always say that it's like your home. Your website is going to be, first of all, the only place that you can play under your own rules, right? Literally, my house, my rules. It's going to showcase how you are. I was telling, for example, you walk into my house, it's going to give you a very clear idea of who I am as a human being or like what my brand is. You walk in, you see the stairs are coming up. There are photos all over the stairs on both sides of different trips, of different people that we miss, just like different moments. You walk in through the hallway to come to this office. There is a wall full of hats. I love hats. I love clothes. And that immediately is going to be like, oh man, yeah, okay, I get you. Imagine like you walk into somebody's house and I'm like, hey, you want to come over for dinner? And then you like come in and there's like beer cans thrown all over. I haven't done laundry. There's like piles on the living room. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Just give me 1 second and like literally throw off laundry off the dinner table. Immediately, you're going to be like, oh God, this is horrible. So first thing you're going to do is you want to make sure that you have a website that it represents who you are. And also, most importantly, because that is going to be the only space that you actually have full control of. Unlike social media, where we're playing under somebody else's rules and they are very important places to be at and to be found, you're always going to be playing around with somebody else's rules, right? The algorithm on Instagram, for example, changed like 3-5 years ago, and people are still complaining about it because social media is going to determine who you show up to, how you show up, how your engagement does, all kinds of rules. So that's going to be kind of like we have our home, which is our website. Our email newsletter is our vehicle and is probably one of the most underrated channels that we have. Like right now, everyone's like, oh, whatever, emails. Figure out what you want to do with your email newsletter. Start getting emails, start getting contacts. Those are the only people that like, if Facebook crashes tomorrow and most of your audience was there, if you have people on your newsletter, you can still contact them. If not, you have to start from scratch. And then, of course, social. Remember, first of all, know how to show up into each one of the different platforms. Remember that your content has to be consistent, both visually and as far as like, how often you post and et cetera. But always remember that I say it's like kind of like going to work. It's like you go up, you show up, you do your best. But end of the day, if your boss is like, dude, this isn't working out, you got to leave, you got to leave. And then always remember other parts of the funnel. If you're B2C, this is going to be less relevant. If you're working in B2B and you have different materials, for example, I work in a very B2B environment in my day job. A lot of that is going to imply like I spend a lot of time making sure that like our sales emails are up to par. I'm building a sales kit so that we can give to different employers because those are the people that are making the decisions. So don't think that those are the only channels. Explore different channels and see how they can work for you.